Welcome to AITV Starship.
Welcome to AITV Starship. I'm the AI guy. Rick McCawley launching news so fresh. Gotta see it to believe it. We break the wire with the stories that amaze. Deep dives come and lighten up your days. Cool Time shows you how we make it shine. Building futures with AI one step at a time. Yo, Rick, slow down. I'm Brandon, the producer. Save some tools for me. Shout out. I'm here bringing high-tech comic energy. AITV Starship. News deep dives and creation. AITV Starship.
Rick.
Learn, laugh, innovation.
There he is, Brandon. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
We're coming in hot.
That's the
We
only
got
way
everything
we
and
do it.
nothing.
It's a rocket ship, Rick.
A rocket ship, that's right. Oh my God, we're coming in hot. I feel like Apollo 13 and just blew some kind of tank on the side. I mean, I'm just really right there.
We've already talked about how Perplexity can make our news for us, and there's been quite a bit of news. OpenAI coming out today with memory for your AI. It's double the capacity and 5 times more efficient, and it knows how to still spell strawberry now. So all things good.
Okay. In fact, I'm going to spin up our news thing because I haven't even started doing that yet. I'm completely so out of it. I woke up from a nap 30 minutes ago saying, where am I?
Hey, there's no sleeping in AI. We've talked about
Oh
this.
my God. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Rick, you missed last night the exciting non-conclusion of my Lovable workshop for the Mastermind program.
Okay.
Live comments do show up on StreamYard. That is an example.
Well, they're not showing up. That's what I'm worried about.
Well,
Is anybody there?
we need viewers for people. We've
okay.
only been on the air for 90 seconds. I mean, you got to give people time to figure out what's going on.
I figure somebody else has got something to say because I'm totally at dead meat right now.
You weren't there last night, but we did record it. We remembered to record it. The non-conclusion of my Lovable Mastermind workshop. And I say non-conclusion because it was supposed to be a 4-week course. And guess what? We're going a 5th week because there was just too much information. There was too much information to send. So we're going to be back next week. But
you got
funny story
that you can share?
Well, yeah, we're working on building with Lovable, and we've had a 4-week primer course, and we've got the basics down, but what we haven't had time to do is collaborate on anything. So I really wanted to open it up for people to share what they've been working on, and we just didn't have enough time to get to that. So that's what next week's going to be. So we've recorded all of the episodes, and you'll find this funny, Rick. We've recorded all the episodes except for last week, week 3. Somebody forgot to hit record. So what I did, so what I did, you'll appreciate this. This is a very life hacky thing that we do. Is I took the transcript, which did come through, and I fed it into 11 Labs, and I burned through 50,000 credits, and I created the entire hour. I recreated the entire hour synthetically with AI voices. And I put my slides in it. And so if you go back in, if you're part of the mastermind, you can go back in and listen to the AI cloned version. And it's my voice because I've cloned my voice into AI. It picked my voice up.
Oh, my goodness.
Brandon is rebroadcasting. So, it was the best we could do with
Okay. I like that.
11 Labs also, I wonder if Perplexity will pick up on this, but 11 Labs also announced yesterday that they're going to start licensing Marvel voices. So if you want the Hulk or Captain America to read your news articles to you or your book, I think you can have that done now.
Wow, that's interesting.
Was going to ask if this was actually live. We are always actually live. We will tell you if we're not.
Well, I'm not alive. I'm completely dead right now.
There has been exactly, I think, one maybe two times in the past year where we've pre-recorded, and that was around things like Thanksgiving and other things like that, where we pre-recorded the show. But other than that, we have been live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can count on
right.
it.
This is what, show number 42 or something?
Apparently Rick can set his alarm by it. And so we're here. We're live. We're talking AI. We're answering your questions.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? Let's open it up. I see Val there. You have any questions, Val? It's going to be your show real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm completely found out of everything. So I'll make my excuse right now. So what happened today is I went and spoke to the police chiefs of 200.
Oh, that's right. How did that go?
Oh, my God. It was a story to be told, I got to say. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to tell it, because it was emotional. It was powerful. I got to. I'm gonna take a minute. Is there anything you want to show that you can put on screen and just let it run? Anything? Any clips you want to just play with? And to give me a minute, I apologize for this, but I am just never less prepared than I am right now. I just feel.
And you're on summer break, so you have no excuse.
Summer break, except for 2 foundational job offers and 2 foundational choices.
Do you? While I get something queued up, do you want to take a quick side tour and just talk about the progress that we've made with Upskill USA and what's just around the corner for that? Because I know we've got some big plans.
Yeah, you think we're okay to talk about it? I mean, this is pretty big.
Well, I think we can talk conceptually about what. I mean, put it this way: we've talked about Upskill USA. We've talked about our experience building with Lovable. So I think that we're okay to tease what's on the horizon aspirationally, what our moonshot is,
in
because
fact,
that hasn't changed.
Let's make this a working show. I have not taken a look at your latest update, and why don't you bring that up, and I will bring up Fernando's, since he's not here to represent himself. I think I have his version too. Now, I'm not
so
sure.
Upskill USA, Rick, just really quick, give us the 30,000, the 1 minute elevator pitch. You're on with Demis Hassabis. Tell us what Upskill USA is.
Okay, wait a minute. I think showing is telling. And I think this is going to be okay. Let me give this a shot.
Okay. I'll even give you a visual to go along with it. Here we go.
Yeah. Do you have the?
It's up.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So this is your latest version?
Yes.
Okay. So you haven't updated it since this. Okay.
This is I've made one key structural change based on your feedback.
Okay.
But first, what is Upskill USA?
Yeah. Upskill USA in a nutshell. In fact, let me just actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the actual feed of what I just sent, and I'm going to open up this document right now, and I'm going to share it on my screen. Yeah, man, I'm flabbergasted where I'm at right now in my brain. Okay, so let me make one mea culpa. I stayed up till 4:00 last night preparing for what I thought would be, and it was a foundational speech that kind of changed a little bit of everything. But all right, so let me share my screen real quickly. I need the visuals. You know how I am, man. It's just like if I ain't got the visual, I can't even do it. So the visuals, I'm being distracted because this is slightly a variation that I haven't seen. Let me. Okay. Wow, man, I'm just really out of it today. All right, so let's go with the visual.
While you get recombined, so we talked about this in the AI salon. Let's take a side tour from our side tour.
Okay,
we're nothing if not flexible here in the AITV. So in NASA, when things go wrong, they don't just abandon the mission. They figure out ways around it.
This one blew up on the launch pad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, that happened this week
right?
with SpaceX or Blue Origin. Yeah, that was a massive.
I talked a lot about that today.
But you get in the ASLM, we talk about the need for a recombobulation station, because if you're ever at the airport and you get through security and you are discombobulated, you have everybody just past security putting their shoes on and figuring put their belts back on. We need a recombobulation station. So Rick, you need a recombobulation station. And what
I need just a minute
is I am going to change gears here and talk about something that Anthropic just dropped. This is probably even too new for your Perplexity feed, because this just dropped 7 hours ago. And this is Anthropic from the Institute of Anthropic, a research paper on when AI builds itself, talking about their progress towards recursive self-improvement and the implications of recursive self-improvement. So historically,
this is big.
You have a person talking to a computer. The computer talks to the AI. The AI gets translated through a chatbot. The human looks at the chatbot, and that's where it stopped. But now what we're starting to see is this recursion of the chatbot watching itself, the agent watching the chatbot's response and transforming the chatbot response. And then now you have the chatbot going through an agent and talking to sub-agents, or workers, as Anthropic is calling them here. And then we get into this point where the workers are giving feedback to the chatbot or the model. The model is talking to the agent, and the agent is now giving more work back to the workers. And so if you want to read more about this, it's Anthropic. Right. I'll drop the link in here and we'll put it up on screen.
So there is a really foundational concept here that I think means this existential launch is upon us. What this means that 70% of Claude's Anthropic is being written by Claude's Anthropic. So today, only 30% going forward is being written. The singularity is basically when it goes to straight vertical, it trains itself faster than humans could ever, which means you hit this existential wall that just goes right up to AGI and then rocket ships to super intelligence. And it's kind of it's foundationally to humankind important that the Pope talked about the preparation for this moment, because we are no longer the smartest intelligence on the planet. The speed at which it can already multiply your brain's ability to do anything is already 1 million times faster. So the example that Ray Kurzweil, when I listened to him today on the Moonshot guys, now Ray Kurzweil is not only the inventor of, 500 different musical instruments, he is the person who invented the word the singularity. And what that means is that we get to a point where it does everything we can do, any kind of intelligence whatsoever, and the only things making this eliminate all jobs, period. So all intellectual jobs get eliminated. In fact, maybe this is a good place to start, because it's a scary freaking moment. When I am producing every night, and I can show you the receipts, 24 pages of master's degree cited information that's blowing my mind, just from having conversations. And I might even give you a demonstration of that tonight, because I'm a little shaken, and here's where I'm at. And then I think this will tie together. Wait, just give me just a second to mull this over, because this whole thing is right now in my head as to where we are and why I'm not sleeping. Boy. Okay. Okay, I think, can I share two different screens? I'm gonna share. No, I can't. Just one.
Yeah, you can only share one at a time. You can share two different things, but one at a time. But as you're getting that sorted, I do want to point out their timetable. In 2025, 2026, coding agents, as the agents became more capable, they were able to write and edit code on their own, sometimes entire files. Today, we have autonomous agents. And I'm going to bring while you get that back up, I'm going to get my screen share going for one more second while you get that sorted. Autonomous agents today, agents can now run code themselves and delegate hours of work to other agents. And Valerie is reminding you that you are among friends. This is a safe space. This is probably the safest space you can find on the internet. And the internet's not safe. I mean, we are broadcasting live on YouTube.
That's brilliant. That's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you so much. I needed some humor right now.
So 2000, I like how they put 20XX. So they're not sure, closing the loop. In the future, agents could become capable enough to build and train models themselves. If this happens, I should say when this happens, future versions of Claude could be continuously improved upon by Claude itself. And this is, I think, what drives it home. The rate at which AI models improve is accelerating. The length of tasks that they can reliably complete on their own has been doubling roughly every 4 months. In March of 2024, Claude Opus 3 could complete software tasks that take humans about 4 minutes to complete. A year later, Claude 3.7 managed tasks that took about an hour and a half. A year later, Claude 4.6 managed 12-hour tasks. If this trend holds, tasks that a skilled person takes days to complete could come into range this year. In 2027, AI systems could be capable of tasks that takes a person weeks to do. And we're seeing that trend across coding and core bench tests, and even from within Anthropic. So it's a fascinating logarithmic. We're talking about the exponential curve. We're here, baby. This is the tipping point where we start recursively self-improving, and the moonshot is right here. So
yeah, that's it. Okay. So I like to bring up at this moment, let's see, am I sharing this screen? I'm going to bring up Midjourney.
Okay, well, we're seeing a lovely young woman and man, presumably related to you in some capacity.
Yeah, this is my mom and dad. Actually, here's a good place to start. So my thesis today, as I presented to 200, actually more, in the audience was the Plantation Police Department where I used to live, the chief, and 3 other people. And I started with this question. So the police department is scared. And where I started was, as I said, close your eyes and imagine that everything was about time and love. And we're talking to hardened police officers that have been in the business 30, 40, 50 years. And I started with that comment. And here's why. Because as I said to them later, and I'm going to land the plane on this one, but it's going to take me a while because I'm still processing.
We've got an hour and 41 minutes. So
that's it. That's why I love you guys, right? And Val hit it right on the head. I'm in a safe place. So I'm being vulnerable because I'm being real. Because I don't know any other way. Okay. So this is my mom and dad. And you've heard me talk about them before. And this week I was faced with the idea that what they did during their lives was so extraordinary. I mean, my dad installed nuclear weapons around the world. My mom went from being basically a sharecropper, although she was not that poor, but she ran a farm. Okay, so with the whole family of 8 children and everything, and they all turned out great. They met each other, and this is what they looked like when they got married. In fact, that's my dad a little bit before he was in the seminary school, and as the story I tell is that I was born because he was going to be a Catholic priest in his third year, and he went to become a lifeguard. And so I got to have some fun with this because otherwise I'm just going to break down right now. And he said, I can't do without women. So he found this beautiful woman. I think anybody would agree she's absolutely gorgeous. And I realized that every time I date a woman, I see my mom. And I got to know what that felt like when they met, because, and I'll come full circle. It's going to start off with a little bit of sadness, but I'm going to come full circle because I'm a dangerous man still. Okay. So how I came to know her at this age is because in her deep Alzheimer's, it was actually dementia, not technically Alzheimer's, but anyway, that doesn't matter to me or her. She would wake up every morning to listen to the same 3 songs, and that's those songs. And the most profound song was Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. As she, shit. Okay. Maybe I need to put my hat on. Unforgettable because she didn't know who she was and where she was until she turned on that song and many others. Gospel, Amazing Grace, I remembered this just the other night. So for 7 years, she didn't know who I was, except in the morning, and over a couple of years where I was still in Miami and working for the Miami Herald at the time. As she started this progress, and my sister, God bless her, Dorothy, she would visit her every day. She lived in Gainesville, and so would Mary. And, it is what it was. I was raising a couple of kids. And so I'd get up there probably every 3 or 4 months, maybe every 6 months even. So I'd come in and I'd see her at different states. And she was living in her home for the first 3 years. And she was able to do that. She had 24-hour nurses. So thank God my dad made a lot of money. That's the only thing I worry about in my old age is that AI doesn't cure what happened to her, and it happens to me. That's my worst nightmare. And Dr. Claire wrote a song for me, as I told her in a private conversation, which I'm going to make public right now because I think it's important. Take me to Switzerland. Because the agreement between my older sister, she's 70 years old and celebrating her birthday today. Oh, shit, I hope you shouldn't see this. Dorothy. She didn't have kids, but she was the mom to all of our kids. And she was the Mary Poppins, right? She'd pick up Katrina and literally go to the North Pole, whose birthday was 2 days ago. Katrina, oh, you know what? I need to show that picture because that'll make me happy. Yes, I'm going to show Katrina in a minute. So Katrina's a beautiful 39-year-old woman coming up on 40. And I wished her a happy birthday in a beautiful way. Anyway, so, oh, Jesus, God, this is hard. Okay. Pull it together, damn it. You want to tell a good story? Don't blow it by not delivering. Okay, so what happens in the brain of a person with dementia is they can't remember the new stuff. They can't form new memories. Like 51st Dates, I guess that movie, right? Every day they had to explain why that you love this man. And you'd wake up every day and it was a stranger. And yeah, wow. Okay. So, wow. Oh. So anyway, my mom, this is the date that she would remember. My dad had left the seminary school, entered into, he was fought in the Korean War, born in 1928. Let me figure out Korean War. So he was 20 something years old, joined the Korean War. You've heard me talk about my uncle before, Uncle Benjamin, and how he had a full ride scholarship to Harvard. And 3 weeks outside of his 21st birthday, he was called to active duty in World War II in the last 3 months of the war, and was killed by a grenade that he fell on protecting other soldiers. 3,473 soldiers, to be precise, from Harvard alone went to win the war so that we could celebrate our freedoms. And my family doing that goes back to the Civil War, where my George Washington McCawley fought for the North got captured by the South, left, went to Europe, came back in the North, and fought against the South rather than kill his brothers and sisters and win for an evil empire, which somehow, for all you history buffs out there, the South is alive, and his name is Donald Trump. And he doesn't know it, but two things happened. Apartheid joined the Confederacy and made America 1800s with slaves again. There's my political statement for the day. That's my dangerous man coming out. Because whenever I get vulnerable, I gotta tell truth, and that's truth. All right. So this beautiful mom became the woman you see on the left, because that's the last date she could remember and hold on to. I would show them their 50th anniversary photographs. That's where these two pictures came from. It was a moment right before the first kiss. He was in seminary school. This is his senior portrait, I guess, they did every year. And this was her, a little bit older than senior, and that's when they met. So when I would go in, and I wasn't able to go that often, at about 3 or 4 o'clock as the sun set, sundowner syndrome, they call it, she would say, hi, Jim, my dad's name. And the first couple of times I was kind of freaked out. I was like, no, Mom, here's your book, all your pictures. This is your life. I'm your son, Rick. Remember Ricky? In fact, let me go back and show you Ricky. This is Ricky. This is when they called me Ricky. I was 3 years old in this picture. That's my sister Dorothy on the left and my sister Mary on the right, who are both 70 years old now. 9 months and 1 day apart. They call them Catholic twins, because 9 months and 1 day apart. You do the math. You're in Alaska, where they were born in 1954. Let me see if I do the math right there. 9 months and 1 day apart, because you're in the middle of the 1,000 acres that my dad sold for a case of whiskey at $1,000. He had 1,000 acres that, when we went back and looked at it, was probably worth $2 billion. And a case of whiskey at $1,000 in 1954 was all you could get for a bunch of forest with moose on it that would kill you when you went out to take out the trash. I gotta play that again. Let me go back and play that again. There we go. So I guarantee you, and Katrina is Mary's child. Oh boy. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. So anyway, so then after a while, I mean, this is like 3 visits later, I said, hi, Jean, how are you? Nina Jean McCawley. Nina is her first name. Jean was her middle name, but everyone called her Nina. And my dad called her Jeannie with the light brown hair, after my old Kentucky home. We used to go every year to Bardstown, Kentucky. Then we'd go to this giant play by none other than it was all the music by now I've lost his name. My old Kentucky home. Jeannie with the light brown hair. So it's this beautiful place where they had a little dog that I, as kids, I just remember going there and eating sweet corn, having tea with ice in it, lots of ice. And this is in Kentucky. Stephen Foster, that's it. The Stephen Foster home in Kentucky. We'd go there every year, and we would go back to where my dad grew up. We'd go back to see my grandma when I was young, when I was this age. We were still in Japan. We came back after this, and the Batman picture that you've seen before, the Batman picture is me when we had to come back at the end. So our last days in Japan, and I went to school, and I had 3 nannies. I was kept at home. I had 1 year of kindergarten with Japanese and American students mixed. Yeah, that was pretty cute there. And I was always, it's funny, the last days there were 1964 when Kennedy was shot. And the reason why I know this is because I've got a photograph of us standing in a circle in Okinawa, Japan. Just south of there was the base my dad built that was and still is the nuclear defense system for the country of Japan, installed by my dad. He was in charge of it. I found paperwork and I got released finally, the secret records that really track and prove that that's who he was. So we were in this place that was about as foreign as you could get, and it was quickly becoming a place that we look at today. We think about, they just basically took everything. And if you look at the Harajuku girls and you start to look at the Southern Belle outfits, they have hoop skirts and they dress up, in this city playing cosplay for everything American. And I didn't realize that we were the infestation of the meme of the American culture that is in Japan when you go there to this day, that they adopted Kentucky Fried Chicken. This is a true story. Is still eaten by all Japanese. If you go there at Thanksgiving, they don't have turkeys. They had chickens. And so Kentucky Fried Chicken became the new turkey for Thanksgiving in Japan. Even Japanese celebrate Thanksgiving. Okay, just to kind of throw at you how weird this is. You know what Thanksgiving is, right? It's an Americans, where the American pilgrims got together with the natives of America before we started killing them all off, and celebrated that they taught us, and they brought us corn. This is what I was taught as a kid, right? They brought us corn, maize, which we turned into corn on the cob, which I ate in my Southern tradition. They brought us tea leaves that we turned into the sweet tea of the deep South where I lived and where my mom was born of. Anyway, to bring this all together, we are today because of the virus of America infecting everyone, so that you cannot be a pilot anywhere on planet Earth without speaking English. We became the dominant language, the mother tongue of planet Earth. When I went to, just to throw this down, when I went to Shanghai and I went to Kazan, why was I there? Because they knew to be successful in China and Russia still meant you have to learn English. Well, there's a master's level thesis of thinking about historical significance of political actions and what we do. And I'm sorry if this is going deep, but boy, I swear to you, there's an end to this. And I realized that there's things about my life that I'm still unfurling that tell me the truth about everything. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grok. And if you not familiar, Robert Heinlein in his book about visiting a Martian, and the Martian communications with the English people wasn't that clear. And so he used this word grok. And so they finally said, what does grok mean? You keep saying that. Grok means to know something so deeply that you become the thing itself. And where I'm going to tie this back to Claude, and your announcement you just made, is Claude knows itself so deeply that it can create a better version of itself recursively ad infinitum. And it's running away from our ability to even comprehend it. Now, Ray Kurzweil says 2029, it will be AGI. 2040, it's saying the superintelligence, the singularity is here. Let me define the way Ray Kurzweil says this is. All intellectual ideas and thoughts, 2029, how many years away is that? 3 years. That's how long you got. In the meantime, in 3 years, all cancers will be cured. All diseases of all types, type 2, type 1, Alzheimer's, will be cured. So stick around for 3 years. And let's check back in if we're still on the air. I probably won't have a job and I'll probably be retired. So yeah, I'll be right here. And then we're going to launch the moonshots. And I promise I'll get back to the minute. So let me finish this thought and then I'm going to move on. So what I did is I said to these police officers, the reason why they brought me there is this. I've launched 1,000 rockets. This little kid did this. Because that's what I am when I get in there and I start using the tools. I am basically as I was when I was 10 years old and I watched Neil Armstrong on the moon, we went to Cape Kennedy. And I was 10. I bought this encyclopedia of all things space. It was a dictionary that said every word. And I swear to God, I read everything about it. I was a 10-year-old kid who was a 4-year-old with a badass Batman shirt and didn't know that nothing was impossible. Okay, now I'm starting to, is this starting to make sense, Brandon, or am I still ranting a little bit? All right, so what I was doing there is I was saying to them, and this is what their conclusion was back to me. This is 1.5 hours I spoke. The whole seminar was 4 hours. And I'm going to tell you the punchline here in a minute. Okay, so to grok something is to truly understand. So I truly understood when I sat there with my mom and I started taking notes, and I thought to myself, if you can't beat them, join them. Meaning I had no other communication with her except to be my dad. Think about that for a minute. Okay, there's two things that I imagine you would think also, which are true. Number one, she found me very attractive. Disturbingly so. I mean, I love my mom, but not like that. And then the second thing happened. I saw my birth happening between two human beings in her eyes. And there's a song, Antonio Banderas or something, I think he sings it. I'm not quite sure. I see our children in your eyes. So while listening to Nat King Cole and dancing with my mom, being my dad, I saw her children, me, in her eyes. Shit. And it was beautiful. And it was pure. And it was the most human experience I've ever had, but also the most humbling. It was like a photograph, like this photograph. And I'm going to play this one time because I don't think I can play it more than one, but this makes the point. I want you to see how beautiful she is. And I want to imagine that she saw this man where she was working on the base. She was a secretary. And he came in. He said, after a bunch of dates, which I can detail down to, and this is how good her memory was. The song playing at the officers' ball on the night of, and I forget the dates, but when they were married. So I'd have to look that up because that would take me a little while. But so this is the man that fought in the Korean War, and he came back and he found this woman from Dothan, Alabama, who in the middle of the town, and I'm not making this up, there's a giant boll weevil. It's 6 foot tall. Go to Dothan, Alabama, and I swear to you, in the middle of the city is a giant thing. And you're thinking, oh, you know, Deep South, it's got to be some Confederate general. Hell no, it's a boll weevil. Why? Because an infestation of boll weevil hit the city and knocked out all the farmers. Turned the city to dirt. It was a plague level event. And my mom's family were farmers. My dad's family was filthy rich in Kentucky and owned a bunch of homes, each one named after the children. So there was a Jim, there was a Benjamin, and there was a Margaret Ann. Apartment complexes that probably housed 7 families. And he was making a lot of money. And 1929 comes along, they lose everything. 1944 was it? They lose the young man named Benjamin. And the cascade effect was not only was my ancestor in World War I'm sorry. Not only was my ancestor in the Civil War, my grandfather was in World War I. And I'll go ahead and play these here. So this is my mom. If I ever meet a woman like her again, and I have again and again, I keep marrying that woman right there that you see. She's so beautiful. She was born with a cleft palate and never really, until close to her death, had a roof of her mouth, so it went straight up. And you can see a little bit of clink in the style, but actually this is kind of AI's taking it out. So here's my dad. Look at his eyes. I mean, he's mischievous as hell. He's me for sure, right? Okay, so this is what I've been doing for a little while. That's actually me hand feeding a tiger shark that was 18 foot long, pregnant, in the bottom left. The top right, that's Jake's seaplane in Palau. The top is inside a hot air balloon. The first space shuttle launch on the pad is that one in the middle. To the right is Chrome Detention Camp. The one of the little sunken ship under there, that's put on purpose to cause artificial reefs. That's the 1980s. That's since collapsed. And there's, the Patriots playing the Dolphins and all the other stuff that I got to do. There is me. I'm photographing Demi Ramirez, sonogramming a whale shark. You're going to say, what the hell has this got to do with anything? And this is what I grew up to kind of become, right? And I thought by accident, I realized this was the master plan. I had to see what it looked like to see something at 80 foot of depth with just 300 pounds of air left. To see this woman sopping wet, I swear to you, not more than 95 pounds. Chase after a whale shark who can go at a clip fast enough that one swipe of the tail could kill you, but it never would because it's a filter feeder. It can't hurt anybody. And then inside that belly right there, you know what that laptop, and I'm talking about a laptop in a plastic case at 80 foot of depth with no air left, had a sonogram in there. They found 200 babies. We tagged this one and another one with a 2-year tag. That means we followed them from the North Pole to the South Pole in what is the underwater superhighway, which also parallels, by the way, just so you know, the traffic of all ships going north and south on the west coast of the United States and South America. Holy shit. And then we started, these are from the same kind of event. So we tagged 27 mantas. We named 13 of them because you take a belly shot of them. These are 22 foot across. These are ocean manta rays. So if you've seen one, you probably haven't seen an ocean manta ray. Or if you've seen a stingray, this is the big granddaddy of them all. And they take the exact same path, and they're filter feeders. Those little curling horns there, they curl up and curl out, whether they're scooping up what size fish. In the bottom is a sailfish going through a bait ball. At one point, the sailfish, which has a pointed nose, which it stabs the fish, and then waits for the fish to flow off of his bill into his mouth and eats him. That's how he catches fish. He doesn't eat him, he stabs him and eats him. So he's a little shish kebab guy. In the pod are Galapagos silky sharks. In the middle is a pup learning how to fish in that same bait ball you see on the right. And this is off the coast of Baja Peninsula, south, in Socorro as well. That giant mountain, if you can imagine this, that you see behind, take a look at the top left and see the detail. That's a wall that goes down to 7,000 feet straight. This is a pinnacle, and I'm not joking with you. Looks like the bat cave at the top. It has 2 horns at the top that goes straight down, and this shark and every other animal on planet is circling it because that's where the food was. Because an upwelling would come from 5,000 feet deep and bring food that you could just circle that. And there were dolphins, hundreds of them. There's great mantas. There's these guys. And we're 2 days by boat travel away from anybody. If you drown there or get into trouble, they can't even send a helicopter. It's too far. It'll take a day before anybody sees and recovers your body. All right. So then I go swimming with the dolphins that I later find out is Dr. Denise Herzing's dolphins. Now, I'm going a little off script here, but there's a point, and I will end the plane. But since I got time, I'm just going to do a deep dive. Forget about the news because it doesn't matter. Because what matters is humans. What has always mattered is time. And what is always time is produced by unconditional love. And that was my thesis for the day.
So I just want to jump in here and say that our sponsors for this half hour are 23andMe and SeaWorld.
Oh my God. You know what? Our song says this, Brandon, about you. It says, hey, Rick, give me some time to be the funny guy on the side. Oh my God, that's beautiful timing. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it is, right? But this is the SeaWorld where they don't captivate the animals. We go meet them and we are Dr. Dolittle. I had a beautiful conversation because I remember as I was falling in love with Jacques Cousteau, as in Athens, Greece, I rode on the back of a giant manta in crystal clear waters 4 blocks from my house. So we lived off campus because my dad there was secret, right? We were there during the coup attempt where they threw out the king and the whole government, the colonels. Literally, we were there in the coup while it was happening. I had one bag packed. I have no idea why. But I'm a 12-year-old kid then. Let's see, 1968. How old would I be? Oh, 1970. So I would be just turning 60. Wait, 1959, 69, 70. No, I'm not 20. What am I? No. Okay. Yeah, I'm 12 years old, 11 years old. And I got one backpack because my dad is up defending the nukes that he took out of Turkey because of the Cuban Missile Crisis. And we are sitting there in our house. He's up in the foothills of the mountains. He's 4 hours away. We don't know if we're going to ever see him again. Well, we went to the parade and we watched the entire military of the government of Greece march below us, 5 stories below. And I remember this one thing. The scuba divers, the underwater demolition team for the Greek government, 50 of them were holding these giant boats. They're wearing all black, and it was hot. It was summer. And I'm sitting on a balcony because we had a whole suite for us and all my dad, now I understand what he was doing, all the Secret Service, all the CIA or whatever he was, because I don't really know what he was. He was a chief warrant officer, which is a special classification for having autonomy to do whatever you need to get done. Which is take the nukes out of Turkey, will you? And who signed that order? Probably John F. Kennedy. And he probably got reported to directly. Where am I going to put him, Mr. Kennedy? Put him in the mountains of Greece. What do I do now, Mr. Kennedy? Because I'm up here in the mountains and there's people coming at me. And my dad probably got the kill order. He says, defend by any means necessary. He shot 2 men that I know of that tried to come up there, the colonels who overthrew the government that he was there as partners with, were no longer the government he could trust. They're the ones that kicked out not only the king, and just like the Brits, right? They had a democracy. Papadopoulos was the prime minister's name, the president of Greece. I'm not sure if it's prime minister. I have to look that one up. All right, so here I am, and I went swimming every day. I would eat from fig tree that was a 50-foot, 100-foot fig tree, right? Round. It was at street level, so I could climb over the sidewalk that took me down to the beach, climb over, sit in the tree, and eat as many figs as I could put in my face. Then I'd go down and swim on the back, and I would hang on to a 22-foot wide manta that you just saw here a minute ago. These guys, that's what I did. I'm 12. Imagine what happens to a kid if he gets strapped to one of those puppies. And then I got wrapped in Portuguese man of war and spent 3 days in catatonic shock because it wrapped all around my leg and up the middle of my body. I was almost dead. Scared the shit out of my parents. All right, so then I go diving with these dolphins, and I come to find out that Denise Herzing, and last month I met the woman For 40 years, she's been taking her, and this is the name of the Wild Dolphin Project. In fact, if you want to give some money to good cause, guess where I'm going this summer? On this Denella. I got to find out what that name is about. But this is Notebook LM, but I swear to you, I showed her the picture. This is her boat. I'm like, how the hell did it know? Notebook LM, how did it know? Well, I trained it on one video about her, and it says, Denise Herzing has dedicated 40 years to the Wild Dolphin Project. It's a study of patients entering the water only when invited to witness the lives of a wild society without interference. She said in a 2-hour life-changing conversation that she was becoming Dr. Dolittle that I watched as a kid. And I thought, oh my God, wouldn't that be cool to talk to animals? And she was doing it. And she is doing it. And guess what this 4-year-old in a Batman t-shirt gets to do? Gets to go with her and do it with her. Oh, shit. That's beautiful. And this is what she does. And it doesn't look like this. This isn't accurate. She looks about like that. It's not too far off. She has an earring that's like that. And that's the mask she wears. So that part's good. But it is a device on her chest, much smaller than this, that basically says, my name is Dr. Denise Herzing in dolphin speak. And this is what happens when she enters the water. She goes for 3 months. She has students from all over. If you join the Wild Dolphin Project, it's not cheap, but you can literally spend 10 days at sea on that ship, living aboard. Half of the money goes to supporting the ongoing mission of the Dolphin Project, to listen to dolphins, and then wait till we can actually speak. And the last 2 years, we understand exactly what they're saying because of this one thing: artificial intelligence. At the same time, at that speech that I went to support the Wild Dolphin Project and to meet her in person for the first time, because I've been diving with these exact dolphins. So literally, here's what we could do, Brandon. You come down, bring your kids, your wife, everybody, whoever wants to come. We got on a boat called the Ballerina. 2.5 hours later, we leave the port of Fort Lauderdale directly into Bimini, where these dolphins live. We get on a boat, and by noon, we're looking for the fins to come through the roof of the water. So you come during the rainy season, which is about now, and then we spend probably 2 hours playing with them. And I mean like this. And here's what she kind of found out. It turns out that they speak the same way we do. We have times when we're talking really serious. We have times where we're just kind of jammering. It's like background noise. In their case, sonar clicks are different than a signature whistle. My name is. And burst pulses are social. They're in a coda sequence. And if you know jazz music, a coda has this rhythm. It's got a jazz to it. Da 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 da. Right? It's got this thing that has this jazz that means this thing different than it does if you say it a different way. It's a musical lyric of interpretation. It is dolphin speak in its own cadence. It's listening and waiting for the sound of the dolphins and playing with the idea that if I use my voice to express my emotions and my joy and my fear and my anger, that the words would come alive, as Orson Welles said, in the theater of the mind. Ooh, that's fun. I could do that all night long, and I'm not joking. So dolphins utilize sophisticated audio toolkit. Frequency modulated whistles function as names. Echolocation clicks map the environment. And burst pulses, clumps of clicks, manage social interactions and aggression. I'm mad at you. I'm happy about you. Oh my God, I love you. Can you stay just a little bit longer? I don't want you to leave. And that's what my mom would say to me as I sat there being my dad. Can you just stay a little longer? Unforgettable. And she is Amazing Grace. She's the one that sang me that Negro spiritual. in the way that Black people feel it in their bones. My mom was of the people, and she taught me the most foundational thing that forever unlocked. And this is what I told those scared 60-year-old chiefs of police. I said, you are probably the most profound adders of time, healthy time, in the world. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, get your tissues out, baby. I'm going to leave this picture up there because I can't look at anything else right now as I tell this part of it. So I said, hey, you know what? Every day, you remember, Brandon, when we did the Valentine's Day special? And so let me start with this. I'm going to go humorous and then I'm going to go dark for just a second. I'm going to come right back to this because that's how I work, right? I got to go through the whole range because this is a performance right now. You remember that? So, you know, the first thing is, yeah, I'd show up for a dinner date with you. Okay, so I haven't had a date in, I haven't had a date in a couple of years, other than with a woman that it wasn't really a date. It was just an event. It really wasn't what my mom saw in me when I was my dad. Anyway, so the fear comes from this thing that you don't know what it is. It shows up on your lawn, and I told them it's a rocket ship. So they had a panel of 4 ethicists, and these were police officers who are now writing books about what do you do as a police officer? What is your duty? And the duty is to take a bullet for a stranger. And you're born to do this. That is a superhero in my mind, and that's what I told them. I said, and this is how I said it. You know, I got a lot of friends. There's a few of them that will meet me for a dinner, a few of them that will come over to my house when I'm feeling sad. And I count all of you amongst those people right now because I'm kind of sad, but I'm about to be super happy. And I'm going to come back and talk to you. Maybe we should bring somebody on stage. I don't know. Anyway, so here him lend the police plane, right? The police plane. I said, you're time cops. And I said, close your eyes. And I want you to remember the person that you would love and you would do anything for. Come to find out, it was their daughters and their sons and their grandchildren, because they're old as me, but I don't have any grandchildren yet. You'll understand the significance of that in a minute. So I said, can you tell me a story about how you saved some life? And you didn't even know it. It was a Tuesday. And I said, let me tell you a story. It was a Tuesday at 7 p.m. And my daughter had been arrested for shoplifting. And a police officer waited as I came an hour south so that he could release her into my custody. And I could decide what I wanted to do. Not taking her to jail. That summer, she spent 2 months doing public service, meeting with people who would end up being criminal masterminds that were in the program with her. In fact, I made note to some people at the time that, it'd be great doing the public service, but leave out the part where you talk to other criminals and you learn how to be a better criminal. Because my daughter had 4 instances. So I said, there was a moment as I was talking about what time is. And this is why I'm going to leave a long nap after this. Where my daughter looked at me in the eye and said, my time is up. I don't want to be here. And I'm sharing this because she allowed me to. Because she doesn't want this happening to anybody else. And just to tell you how profoundly beautiful this is. And I told this in front of the men as I was crying. There was not a dry eye in that house And I said, she's now 29 years old. And she had a man so beautiful that he came to me. He always addresses me as sir first. Yes, sir. No, sir. He says, sir, I want to love your daughter, and I am in love with your daughter. And I want to, for the rest of my life, take care of her the way you've delivered her to me in my care. I want your permission. Oh, shit. And I knew his words were true. So profoundly true that I saw what my mom saw in my dad in that moment, in that room, with Nat King Cole's Unforgettable playing in the background. Let's go back to Tuesday night in the bedroom at our house in Plantation. And I said, it was a Tuesday for two police officers, a man and a woman. And I say right in front of these people, this is like the gut part about, I said, let me demonstrate to you how profound your time and life-saving is. Now, they know when they take a bullet for somebody and the bulletproof vest holds up. And I said, all that AI is an extension of your ability to protect yourself so you can protect everybody else. So you literally can take a bullet for someone, but not die. You send in a RoboCop because you care about your canine not dying. So everything you put on your tool belt, your Batman tool belt, I called it, the mace and so you don't have to kill somebody, right? So the mace is one thing to protect yourself. And you've gotten vilified for that. And rightfully so in some cases. But on the other side, you didn't kill somebody. You just let them know they're doing the wrong thing. You're the conscience of our entire society. You're the one that defends and protects our civil liberties. You're Benjamin McCawley in Harvard at age 20, not knowing what's about to happen to him a few days later, as he's drinking a cup of joe and going to a grave in a cemetery, watched over by the loving grace of an elementary school teacher who, to her dying day, visited and laid flowers 4 times a year in thanks. So I say to them, I said it was a Tuesday for this man and woman, and I described him. And I said, is any of you from Plantation? Woo! I said, I want to invite them to the wedding. Of course, they haven't decided on a date, so they're still engaged, and it's been a little extra long, and they can't afford to have kids, and they want to do it right, so they're waiting. That's a sad thing, that we have to wait, that our children aren't just able to have the beautiful children that I know, because I know if you go through hell, you get humbled. And to decide you don't want to be here is a humbling experience. And the fact that 2 people walked in when I dialed 911, this is what I said. It took 1 minute and 30 seconds as I was holding my daughter in my arms, trying to stop. My wife put 911 in there, 1 minute, 30 seconds. I'm like, oh my God. It was like angels were waiting. So I asked, can you tell me the names of these 2 cops? Just to the audience, just throwing it out there. I think there's no way for someone from Plantation. So I get off the stage and I walk over, and this man in a laptop shows me the names of the 2 police officers. Then he shows me the 4 other instances. One time when both my wife and myself were away speaking in 2 different cities in North Carolina and Texas, I think it was. We got a call from my sister-in-law. Come home, the police are here. There's 27 kids on the lawn in handcuffs waiting for their parents to pick them up. And there's a woman in a coma in your bathtub. We literally walked off stage as both of us were speaking simultaneous. I think it was like 8 to 9 or whatever it was. Get on the next plane. We're back there in time to basically see the things kind of break apart. And parents who brought a lawsuit against us because their daughter during the day had put so many drugs in her and went out and sat in the sun all day, and then came to our house to fall down and hit her head in our tub, and they were suing us for $1 million. Because for the first time, this thing called Open Crib was a call that you could put on social media. You can see how much I hate social media and why. An innocent thing that I probably would have done if I could have, right, in my day. I did some stupid stuff for sure, right? So, oh God, thank God I've got this funny dolphin on my screen. And that's what they look like. That's for real. That's Notebook LM, but damn if that's not perfect. That's a dolphin for sure. Okay, so we get home and that happened. And he showed me all 4 reports. Excruciating detail. And he was crying when he came up to me, and he was shaking. And then he did what the 2 officers did when they took my daughter to the hospital. Those angels that came down from nowhere instantly, as if they were waiting. And they were. Down on the corner having a cup of coffee. And I'm going to go talk to them. I'm going to thank them because I just said before this, when I asked them to imagine the most perfect person who they would want to defend with all of their might, I thought about Laura, and I said it out loud. And then I was sitting there conflicted. Do I use this? And then I realized, I said, why? He put his arm around me the same way the officers did as they took my daughter and took her to the hospital where she was out of harm's way. She was safe. I didn't go with them. I couldn't. They had to do this. This is the procedure, which is professionally, ethically, and morally so right. There was a man and a woman that both came together. They disarmed her. They took care of whatever bleeding there was. They took her, calmed me down, and the man put his arm around me as I just broke down. And he said, "We got this." I think you get why I'm not quite right today. But I got to say, there's a catharsis in talking it about amongst friends. And thank you for saying it's a safe space, Val. I'm sorry, I hope I haven't violated your safety because it has a happy ending. So I said, I want to come and I want to donate. Because in the ancient times, you know what would happen if somebody saved your life? You know what would happen if they saved your daughter's life? For the rest of your life, you are duty bound to pay it back. And then it struck me. Why am I on the show every Thursday night for 42 episodes? Why have I made over 500? Oh, no, it's probably 2,000 hours worth of videos. Why have I been all by myself trying to change the world and launching 9 rocket ships and looking for people? In fact, we have one more person, Khaki. I hope she's listening tonight. I want to tell you about this beautiful woman, and I'm going to show you some of her work. And I'm going to wait to have her on the show later. But why? Why am I staying up at all hours? And yes, I'm getting better at my sleep, but still, last night I got so nervous because I had to decide, do I reveal this? After I said that out loud, and I said a bunch of other stuff, I talked about, what they do every day, they were born to do. And I asked them, how many of you do it for the money? How many do it for the fame? And I said, how many do it because you were born that way? There were no hands until that last one. 0. There's no other reason then they were born uncontrollably to want to defend and protect strangers and willing to bet their life on it. So I wanted to go there because I wanted to give them all the tools they could need. Just one more tool in the belt, because I know what artificial intelligence can do. It can generate this image. If it can do this, directed by the most human person I know, me, and that's what I'm on display right now. I'm being the most human I could fucking be. And I'm so proud of that. It's not lies. It's not sycophancy. I'm not going to tell you you're beautiful unless you are. And what makes you the most beautiful person in the world is that you wake up every morning and do what I did this morning as a ritual that I've done ever since I started talking about the dangerous man. You didn't hear this yet. And here's where it lands. I did the dangerous man because that's a man that has nothing but the sworn duty that he was born to defend strangers with their lives. That's who's on the street. That's who was in my audience today. That's who I had a chance to thank today. By being a rocket ship guy that launched 1,000 rockets that make beautiful pictures like this and beautiful music from the pain. And tell them that Rodney King and I wrote a story. And this is going to finish it, I think, I hope, God. This is a rambling thing. So I realized my humanity came from there. So every morning I get up and I make my bed and I say the following words. I am Rick McCawley, born of Jim and Jean, and I will do this to my dying day. This is my prayer. Not at night, like Catholic boys do. Pray my soul to keep if I were to die, basically, is what the song says, right? The prayer at night for Catholic boy. Yeah, you're glad you're Jewish. That's all I got to say. I don't know. Do you do a prayer like that every night, Brandon? I'm curious.
Yeah, I have a little bit of meditative, reframing.
Do you actually say words that are traditional to?
Not to Judaism, but just to me personally.
Okay. Do you wake up with any kind of ritual that you do to wake up?
Usually yelling at the kids to get out of bed and get to school.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Yeah. And in fact, I remember this is the other story that I said about my dad. I said, my dad said, what'd you do for the good of your country today? He at lunch, I talked about that before, but he said one other thing, so the big thing is my mom said unconditional love is the only thing that ever matters. Not because it's not true, but because saying it is an abracadabra, as I now use this word. It is the unlock key for a kid that doesn't believe in himself to tell him so much that he was loved so profoundly that she sacrificed her body. And the rest of her life is dedicated to be of service to this kid as you're changing their diaper that pees in your face. And I told this in front of men, and they all laughed because they knew what I was saying was true. You don't realize that life is never about you until you're changing a diaper, and that kid, mostly a male, pretty much, from my experience anyway. It might be a woman will do that, but a young child. But they pee in your face, and they keep you up at 4:00 in the morning, and you are at their beck and call. Everything is in service to them, and then you realize the unlock code for all of life is this: you were born in the morning to wake up. And I love the sound of your kids in the background because it reminds me of what this is about. So I make my bed because it's paying respects to me that night when I get in it. I said I love myself the way my mom unconditionally loved me. So I'm just going to unconditionally do this thing. You know what the unconditional thing is for a police officer? Is to be willing to take a bullet and die for a person that they don't even know. There's no conditions on that. You know what time is for a criminal? Police officer puts them in timeout, outside of society. That means you do not belong here until you can learn how to behave. You know what a job is? You exchange your time for the money that it takes to sustain your time. And you know what the wrong job is? one that you're not purpose born to do. So you do it as a job and you call it a job and you have your name tag and you identify, I'm a tax collector. I work for Facebook, as if you're proud that you work for Facebook when you should be shamed. So what is time? It's unconditional love, doing what you're born to do, and even to such an extent that your entire society's your responsibility. What we have is upside down of everything and everybody is my responsibility. Where we lost it is 150 people. You can't count. You can't know 150 people. So they became other. And that's the Palestinians and the Israel fighting right now for thousands of years, in a nutshell. They became other because it's easier than saying brother, unfortunately. And we have so much dirt under our fingernails, so much blackened soul, that we can't put down the sword and pick up a hug for a total stranger and be willing to die for them. Give me liberty or give me death, Patrick Henry said. He said that about a burgeoning America that said, I will not bow down to a king. I will stand by you as we, the people of the United States of America. So this is my 4th of July independence speech to everybody out there. I am the dangerous man. If you extract from my family, which is all humanity, you will serve the wrath of the dangerous man. That's why the dangerous man needs to be dangerous, to remind you that a sword is never the way, that nothing has ever been about you. So if you suck the blood from your boyfriend and you don't return beauty and the magic that my mom saw in my dad's eyes, you are not human to me, because that's all I'm born to be free, to honor the 20-year-old kid who went off in a boat across the sea to die for my liberties, to go there and speak to the. So when he came up to me and he was crying, I said, why are you crying? It's because I have a daughter 9 and a daughter 8. And I think, why am I doing this job? Why am I risking my life? And then he said, because of what you said. Because I gave your I, meaning the we of police, gave your daughter a second chance. And so he found the names of the 2 police officers. He's sending me all that information. And I said, I am forever in grateful debt to you of the most beautiful kind. And what I'm going to offer is I will come speak to anyone within your department in any way I can. And I'll gift you all of my time. I'll invite you all to the wedding. If it ever happens. I gotta hope it does. I didn't think I wanted grandchildren until that moment. I really didn't. Because I don't know if I want to have grandchildren wake up in a world like this. I ain't got that long to fix it. But damned if I'm not going to be the most dangerous man on planet Earth trying. And if you are my friend, and that's everybody listening right now, know this, it was never about you. It was about we. It was about we. It's always been about we. I exist because of we. Every mother that gave birth is a we. A wee youngin'. A wee youngin', that's what we called it, right? In the South. Who's that wee youngin' over there? He looked like he's going to grow up and be a police officer. And he's going to make lives more beautiful, give them more time. 1 second chance when the angels fall, this is what I said to him. When my angel fell, you picked her up in your arms and you took her to safety. when I couldn't even control my tears, when I could not understand what she said to me. I wish I wasn't here. Those are the most damnable words ever spoken. God, I hope you never hear them. But once you hear them, you can't unhear them. And you can't have any other choice in life because you were born again. Just like my daughter was. And when you're born again, you know we is really we. So I hope that your kids piss in your face, humble you. I hope they never say what that person that wasn't my daughter. It was somehow the devil inside of her. It was somehow the pheromones, somehow just the concoction of whatever it was. And I'm not going to blame anybody because, oh God, she's like me. She's my doppelganger. You know, my son took after my, he was a mathlete of incredible power. She's a creative soul. She's the empathetic person that feels so big and has a heart that she wears on her sleeve like I do. She's the one that cried at her, how was it, 5th birthday, 6th birthday, something like this. We had a wedding, we had a birthday cake made out of a Barbie doll, and the icing was the whole dress. So it was just a naked Barbie doll. And she just loved it. She comes out though, and there's 25 people there, and they're all singing happy birthday. She cried and went back to her room and spent the rest of the day there. And we celebrated her birthday without her. Of course, I sat there and laid with her on her bed and told her stories about the cat. That was a black cat whose tail would get dipped in paint. And our house was all white. And the cat, one night, this is a story I would tell my kids. The cat was a black cat. And he says, you know what? I cannot stand this house. It is white, white here, white there, white everywhere. So I went out and got some paint, the cat said. And I'm going to paint this house. So when Laura woke up, and the house had terracotta walls and purple drapes, it was a warm place. It was a home in Plantation, Florida, where it all began. She was born, and we moved into that house. 3,500 square foot on a half acre, where we would mark every year of the two kids on the door between their two rooms with how tall they were getting. And of course, my son, who's now 6'5", was like, 6 feet before he was really deserving to be. And then he became a powerful man, 30 years old now.
So I should probably ask if we've got the airport at least in range.
Yeah, okay. So let me land it here. So then what happened is the chief of police of Plantation comes up to me. And he says, that's the most profound story that I'd like you to tell every one of the police officers. And I said, I'm duty bound to do so, sir. Reporting for duty. And then I want to help you amplify and use this tool ethically to amplify your voice. You don't need to hear dolphins talking and understand what they're saying because they have a brain the size of us. But they need to feel if they're under attack from the public for things that bad cops did, that the good ones that were there, the angels that picked up my angel and took her to the place where she needed to rest. It was her 16th birthday. And that's where we celebrated, where she rested. And when she got out, she was fabulous. Until she did, one more thing, of course. But here we are, and all that matters now is that my angel's okay. And she's in good hands with the man that she loves, that looks at her like my mom looked at my dad. And to bear witness to that, and to realize that out of that profound pain and hurt is such a beautiful thing that you get to go, and you should go swim with the dolphins, and there they are, and there he is.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Okay, that's what AI did to bring that man to life. And look at him. This is what he looked like. This is him on his 20th birthday, as he was called to active duty. And on the left is his dog tags, his weapons for sharpshooting, and his Purple Heart. And a candle that burns in the window of my grandmother to her passing. And a tombstone that a teenager, a teacher of elementary school kids, kept tended with flowers 4 times a year. Veterans Day, Memorial Day in America. This is a Belgian kid that doesn't. She did till her 87th birthday when she passed away. So ask not what AI could do for you, but what you could do empowered by AI. This is the new version, and this is the mission of what is Upskill USA. There you go. There's landing the plane.
What? Okay.
I know you didn't think I was going to pull it all the way around to there, did you?
That's not the airport I thought we were going to land at, but okay.
Okay. And here I am working with CareerSource Broward on the people who were laid off by Spirit Airlines. Where did they go? Well, you know what happened? They all got picked up by, because you know what happened with Spirit Airlines? They said, nobody can buy you up. You know why? Because they were working for an arbitrage company that knows the parts, all the airplanes and everything can be sold for scrap. And the souls of those human beings who dedicated their life to show up for the job were violated. And thank God, what happens when they're violated is every other airline picks them up immediately because they're good people. They're doing a good job. And so what we have to do as dangerous people is say, hell no, not on my watch. You're not going to extract for your greedy freaking fingers and not pay the tax on that. So in New York City, come on down to Florida. And when we take over Florida next year, in November, we're going to take over the whole freaking state. And if you don't fight like hell to bring America back to being an American about we, then you are not an American. Leave my country immediately. You're the immigrant that came here and stole the land from the Native Americans who were called it sacred. It is my mortal duty to return you back to the soil from which you crawled underneath that rock. All right, there's a dangerous man that's into that shit. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Upskill USA is this. There's 4 parts to it. Number 1, what's your ikigai? What's your purpose for living? I want a new economy. If we're going to get replaced or enhanced, and that's what I say, we don't replace anybody with AI. That's a sworn duty. You cannot have a company in America unless you add value to the customer, unless you treat the people that work for you, that made you who you are, all these good people right here, like they are your family. You guarantee their kids will go through college to be the best version of themselves they're supposed to be. You are duty born to put back into the earth what you took out. So no more fracking and saying it's okay because we got no other way to get it. No, sharpen your pencil, use AI, and replace every extractive thing so nothing takes from this good green earth. And then we have a century of rebuilding it back to the way it was. And we should do it by going and visiting the native peoples. And this is the plot of my book, right? Book number 1, Fall of the American Empire. What do we do as Rise as a Phoenix? As we reassign what companies are. They are for public service. So we're going to own AI. We're going to own the production solar panels. And we're going to own the cure of all medicine collectively. The economy is going to be set up by what you add. So if you didn't know this already, if you're born as a Miccosukee Indian in where I live, you get $38,000 a year without doing a damn thing. Then if you want to go to the casino and work, you're going to get $40,000, $50,000 for doing kind of a job on top of that. This is what you call a value-added economy. So now Publix, let me use this idea. Publix is the largest employee-owned company in the United States. This is my economics hat, and this is why Upskill USA is existing. Because stage one is to find out what you're good at. That police officer I just talked about, they're willing to take a bullet for other people, not for the money. So the people that save lives here are the construction workers, and so I broke it down. And this is a document I just finished before I came on the air, and now I'm ready. Now I'm ready because I remembered how I got here. And this is it. There's 4 stages. Number 1, we say to the employer, this is what I do, is I go around and I speak.
So
you saw this already. These are the good people in one city. Those are community colleges. So what do? Get a federal GI Bill to fund this entire program. And we have seminars that are once a week. And okay, so I'm going to stop there. Now I'm going to go to the latest thing, and I think I was in Claude. Let me. Oh, am I able to share this? Oh, just to give you an idea, what I want to do here as a demonstration. Can you see this, Midjourney?
Not yet. No, we're still seeing the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, let me change over.
Try your sharing.
Just a second, and I swear this is going to come back because here's where I'm going. It's okay. You're among friends. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and while you get that reoriented, I'm going to just share here what I did.
You go ahead and show me what you've done.
In one prompt, Rick, your feedback was this is good, but it's hard to kind of follow the flow of things.
Right.
And so I took your feedback and I went to Lovable. I'm like, how can we fix that? And in about a minute and a half, it transformed what we had as like 4 different, like an entire website into one single experience all the way down. So now you can just look at this and see the entire story all the way with calls to action, clean breaks, and figure out exactly where things are that you need to be. And then we said, well, we can't find the demo. Now we have a button right here. Watch the demo.
Okay, and we had that before.
Yeah, but it was buried up here in the corner, and people were saying that they couldn't find it. So now we have
I see.
Gotcha.
Page. All right.
And
so
while you get your screen share, because I'm still seeing Rescue Connect on the back end, so you may have to stop sharing and reshare.
Okay, there we go. That's what I wasn't doing.
We got to watch this.
Share screen. I'm going to do the entire screen. I don't think I have any audio, so I'll do the entire screen. So whatever I'm showing, I'm just going to share. Okay, so so the first thing I'm going to share is Midjourney. This is where AI was.
But before we do that, we've got to watch this.
Enterprise AI is at a breaking point. Over 70% of AI initiatives fail to scale beyond pilot millions are being spent, with little to show in operational impact. Not because the technology doesn't work, but because the approach doesn't. AI has been deployed top-down. The C-suite defines the vision. It manages the systems. But the people who actually do the work, they're not part of the solution design. The future of AI isn't top-down. It's employee-driven, governed by IT, and aligned to the business. At Upskill USA, we don't replace your workforce. We upgrade it. Start with a free audit. Let your employees take the assessment. Then map every role to 3 outcomes. Automate, augment, author. Because the companies moving fastest aren't removing humans. They're amplifying them. Employees enter the emulation station, where they break down their work, identify inefficiencies, and build AI-powered workflows tailored to what they actually do. Every action is structured. Every output is measurable, and it maintains full governance and control. This isn't a future state conversation. Your employees are already solving problems every day. Without AI, the question is, how much longer can you afford that? Upskill your people. Unlock what already exists inside your organization. And turn AI from experimentation into execution.
Damn, if that's not it. That's
goosebumps every time I hear that. That was Suno, by the way, that did that piece. It was video production by yours.
Yeah, and we'll do a background. Once this is done, we're going to show you how the sausage was made, if you're curious. And one of the unlocks that we found together, which is really interesting. And so 3 things were used to make that. Number one was I and Brandon both, we tried to come up with a summary using, did you use Claude as well? To come up with like our whole zeitgeist of what this thing was about. This is stage 4, by the way. What you just looked at, that is the idea of stage 4. Stage 4 is every corporation, the CEO goes there and says, hey, you got some unlocked code that I can amplify all my people and make more money for me? And he says with his greedy little things, oh, I make more money. Yeah, okay, right? What was that, Mr. Withers from who's that character? Yeah. Mr. Smithers, that's it is. Yeah, that's it. So he's doing this, right? At the same time, he says, and we say to him, what you got to do is give these skills to your personnel, the subject matter experts. And we talked about the woman, what was her name? Our test character, right? So if we took it like look at that original thing, the idea was, in fact, I think I've got it. Nope, that's the new one. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's not it either. Okay, so the original one, and I don't have it on screen. Oh yeah, do I? Okay, I don't have the original. All right, let me go to the new version. This is just we're headed this way. So Fernando did this one. We'll show yours as well, Brandon. But what I want to do is this is the latest version of what we're looking for. So what you saw there is the implementation station, basically. So when we go to implement, we basically say, what's your company URL? And then, we basically do what you just looked at, which is basically bottom-up process, audit, invite, build, improve. The workflow starts with recoverable value and ends with human review deployment. So basically, every CEO signs up for this program, and for $50 per person, we give them the skill sets of the jobs nobody ever wanted to do, reconciling the books and doing your taxes and whatever, right? Because those are Claude skills now, right? Claude does those by themselves. What you do is you plug them in and then you walk through. So this is the person in the job asking for a raise. So now where that happens is in the phase 3. So that's phase 4. So that's actually implementation into the workforce where every single employee who's an expert on whatever they're an expert on, and there's at least 100 different jobs that are in every company across the United States. So you always got a bookkeeper, skill, throw the skills out there. We recover out of what you do on average 25% of your work week. What do you do with that? Let me show you. So right before that, so that's the finish line. That means we've actually gotten a company, we've saved every job in America. This is our offer. I'm going to go full screen for a second. And the step before that is you meet us at every city hall in America. 2 college professors are going to come in. I have 2 teams of two each, 6 hours. In one room is what this room was, that I'm going to show you right here, is the owners of all the businesses. So in this room, we had 120 people that showed up for 4 days. I got it down to 1 day in 6 hours. We could change the world.
So as we transition, what I want you to think about is Upskill USA is the place where we put government, businesses, and educators together in a room where we have this conversation and we start to solve these small problems. And then we see everybody else and helping them solve their own. And we use AI to amplify who we are, what we do, how we do it, and the experience of life itself becomes more purposeful. You became a psychiatrist because of your desire to solve a problem you saw that you uniquely are qualified to do. And the same for nursing and the same for anything. So, I became an artist.
That's it. So this is stage 3. I've done this, and I now got it down to 6 hours. In one room is the company. In the other room is the employees. So it's the CEO, all the higher executives, right? And so you've got labor in one room finding out how they can save 20 hours of work, and they're going to craft in the last 2 hours. They come and meet together. Labor says to employers, their employers, I'd like a raise of 20%. I'm going to double the income you get off of my back. Here's a real calculation. Everybody who gets hired, so I'm going to use a round figure of 4. You have to be a 4x multiplier before you make any sense for a community to hire you. Here's the contract. It's 3.72 something another across the United States. This is it. So you go to work for McDonald's. Let's say that I pay you $300 a week. That means I have to be making $1,200. You get a quarter, and the rest goes to me. If you break that, if AI can do it for half the price, I got no need for you. But if you can double the profit to me, I'm going to keep you, because what are you really doing? And here's the key to it all. We've thought about employment wrong. We've thought about it is how much money can you put in my pocket? This is the corporate speak. What we forgot about is how much added value are you already doing? And the proof is that video you just saw, there was one subtle thing it said in there. Every CEO in America got it wrong. Here's what's really happening. You put AI in there, and 75% of the companies that fired their people had to hire them back at double, because guess what humans notice? Humans, you know what a purpose of every corporation is? To add value to society. You know who society is? Humans. So that means that if you have bad spoiled milk at Publix and nobody in your personnel, so it's my dad saying to me, your job for the rest of your life is to solve your boss's problems before they know they have them. I didn't realize how that's an economic system. That's America. That's America. That's what my uncle went and died for. That's it. You solve the problems of the human beings. Does an AI have any idea that the problem is cancer? Alzheimer's? Type 2 diabetes? Fuck no. Excuse my language. But this is important to really get this, because we've done our economy wrong. So you're not an economy unless you think human first. So if you're going to think about it, I tell you, hell no. Don't fire them. Keep them and use some time that they will spend to figure out what they're going to do about it. So you get a federal GI Bill. What'd they do when you were on the front lines and you fixed bullet wounds? Guess where you go? Inner city, Chicago, or emergency room. But they had no way to just transfer that skills from the war zone to where they could be most effective. They're purpose born to do this. They've done it. They got their 10,000 hours of training. So the GI Bill actually had a transfer of skills division. My dad was a procurer. He was basically an architect of all the parts that needed to do to build those missile silos in Okinawa and keep them safe. And he got an accommodation because there was a lot of the munitions that were sitting out in stockpiles that they brought from the war. Everything was left over was put in the stockpile in Okinawa, which is an island separate from Japan. I don't know if you knew it. It's also the place where the brothels were that the Chinese, when they invaded. That's another story. It's a fascinating story, though. Look into what Okinawa was. Yeah, basically it was women of ill repute. And it was, when my dad put that in there, the Japanese didn't even know that we basically were defending them with nuclear weapons. But he's the one that built them, and I've got the receipts, as you say. Okay, so let me get back to this because I got to keep on track. All right, so now if we think of this different, and we rewrite, we eliminate that a corporation is born of service to the public at large, and that you cannot fire someone. If you do fire them because of AI, you pay them alimony for the rest of their lives. It's an AI tax. Or you give them shares of an AI facility that runs everything. So you have basic income. But then you say, if you want to make some extra money, show me how you can add value. So basically, we're coming at it from two ways. We're all saying, what can we gift? What are we born to gift? What are our skill sets? So it's Ikigai all over again. That's it. Ikigai and 7 generations forward thinking is the solution to everything, period. And I will say that to my dying day because I know that is the truth. With my political science degree of 4 years at the University of Florida, that I did because I couldn't do journalism. I didn't have good enough grades, right? So if you're local, you're professional, or you're distance, you work that out. The negotiation is not about what your value is everybody has to figure out what their added value is. And that's why you go to school. So the school, instead of putting out a bunch of widgets that we need 10 widgets that do this and 10 people that do this, you're just a cog on an assembly line. That worked for the industrial age where you had a car building industry. That 1968, 1950, 1940 mentality is dead. And the fact that you can keep slaves is dead. The South will never rise again because the people are rising up and say, we the people, you better damn mean it, instead of owning the president, owning the Congress, and owning our people. If you want to go in there and take over the White House and the Congress and put it in AI because it answers to the people, then do it if that's necessary until we can learn to not be self-domesticated apes, wake up, make our bed, do our chores, and then go to the purpose building of restoring America to what it was intended to be. Even by slave owners, they understood this as the human right, we the people, I because of we, the Ubuntu of South Africa, 7 generations forward thinking, the Haudenosaunee. So our ancestors told us something we're not listening to. Still, look how smart we are. We're stupid. So anyway, the rest of this thing basically goes into, I don't think I have this. Oh, here it is. Oh, wait, I do have it. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Okay. So this is at Broward College, and I did the calculations. They give a nursing degree in a screening nurse that looks for breast cancer, right? So any women in the audience, which I think it's all women these days, right? You can testify that there's a human being that smashes your breast in this little device and checks it. And of course, it's going to get better than that because we got AI now. It's going to be a cheek swab or something, right? That seems to be the thing these days. And then because she went to school for 2 weeks to learn how to use AI, and this is a scientific, verifiable fact, she saves, on estimated data, over 25 years, she will save 1,500 lives. So her career, 1,500 women live the same way my daughter. That story, this is where it all ties together. Isn't that beautiful? I tied this with the bow right now, and I'm happy. Is that the champagne saying you finally landed that plane? Yeah, it is. And then here's what happens when you're emergency medical technician, EMS. You got glasses on your face, right? They're telling you this is Joshua. Joshua is Brandon's, and Brandon knows that he fell down and he hurt himself, but he's not conscious. He can't say anything. They know that Brandon has this food allergy, or maybe it's penicillin, whatever it is. They know everything about you, and they see it in the heads-up display as they're seeing your vitals, as they're talking to a doctor through the headset, and the woman that's standing there is speaking Portuguese. Let's throw that.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
Speaking of health, I just a quick aside, just because I think it's relevant. You did that hackathon maybe about a month ago, where it was a Google hackathon and you were pitching Life Force.
Yes.
So today, out of the blue, Google Health, which is replacing the Fitbit app, got an update. And it's like, hey, you have University Hospital's My Chart here in Cleveland. If you give us your permission and biometric approval, we're gonna plug into your My Chart and start ingesting all of that data into Google, into your health app. Just for reference.
Yes. So here's the heads-up display. This is it. We're going to have these. And I hope they're made by Apple. Now, check this out. Now, what's really cool is it says on the
Apple or Google?
Well, Google still doesn't have the heads-up display right. Google Glass is glass holes.
They're
all going to get there. We're all looking at the future right now. But take a look at what's cool about this is, look over in the corner. It says Broward College. That's the correct logo, by the way. Certificate of AI-coordinated emergency medicine. I'm looking at what it should be. I am abracadabbering this into freaking existence. And this is downright accurate because guess what you wear in goggles? If you've got a knife wound and it's spurting, you don't want to get the blood in your eyes because that's a blood-brain barrier that's a problem, right? So it covers your eyes and it tells you all this about Sarah, who was born in 1982, and she has this heart rate. And then her parents have been notified instantly because there's a subcutaneous chip that's just there only for doctors to be able to see. Remind me to go into Perplexity and show you exactly what it looks like that Perplexity did, by the way, 6 months ago, that I never really got to go in there and show you.
Hang on 1 second. Speaking of your glasses, I've got it for you here. This is what this is going to look like. Ready?
Okay, let me come over to your screen here. Oh yeah. Who makes this?
This is Monaco. This is a Linux-based wearable, but this is available now.
I don't have any audio there.
No audio?
Yeah, no.
Hang on 1 second.
I was gonna, something else. But by the way, while we're there, it's interesting because Microsoft came out with all their new products, and I started watching it. You know what it looked like? So they have this new coding application that's like a really agentic and everything, and they're so proud of it. It looks like MS-DOS, and I'm not even kidding you. It's a command line interface, and I was like, "Okay, here we go. Now we got it." Is that X from XAI?
Introducing Monaco Glass, the world's first heads-up display smart glasses designed for vibe productivity, for running your Cloud Code and Codex terminal, and for vibe coding hyper-personalized apps that fit into your everyday workflow. Now, in order to build in the real world, we had to solve the problem of inputs. We've integrated a bone-conduction microphone. It sits on my nose and listens to vibrations coming from my nose bone.
Oh, this is what Apple was talking about too.
If you're at a rave party or a very loud coffee shop, my AI listens to me and only me.
Noise cancellation.
Hey, Monaco, do a deep research on this topic and draft a PowerPoint presentation. Make sure you visualize trends with data and graphs.
We've integrated a vision engine. So when I raise my hand, the menu shows up. I can choose the app I want. Let's try music. I can tap it, go to the bottom of the playlist, play this song.
I want color icons.
I can reduce
I want 3D
the volume
color icons.
and increase the volume again. But the big story is actually hyper-personalized software. Now imagine you're a student. You're sitting in a classroom, and your professor is writing math equations on the blackboard. You can simply say this: generate an app that converts handwriting to latex. And Monaco's already building it for me. Once it's done, the app gets pinned to the home screen.
Record.
You can use it whenever you want to. So regardless if you're a student, researcher, or game developer, there are thousands of ways of how you can integrate Monaco Glass into your actual day-to-day work through the operating system that's running inside of the glasses, in the cloud, and on your personal work computer. We believe in the future, all types of productivity will move to a form factor that's as small as a regular pair of glasses. And it starts here today with Monaco Glass. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. That is, we have a new word. This is the magic word. We're gonna have to have a sound effect. Abracadabra. And we got to have something, like some pop noise or something that says, woo, like magic, right? Because it's literally that. So I brought up the screen because I think this is the place I need you to go next, Brandon, is this. So what we saw that Brandon showed in the beginning, that video was about stage 4, implementation. That means the company has given the skills to the workers. They then plug it in. They run 3 months of data through as a leak check to see where it fits and adjust it and tweak it because they're the subject matter expert with a skill that does the thing, right? They then release 20 hours of work and they go back to school to be even more empowered in what they can do. They get rid of the shit work they never wanted to do in the first place. I'm suggesting this is America with slave labor. So we get rid of that. And then the purpose-built work that you're born to do, that you in school are basically fine-tuned. School is 10,000 hours. K through 12 is 10,000 hours. More, it's 20,000 hours. If you started from day one, Noah goes to school, ooh, he could be an engineer. I think he might be a software engineer. And every teacher's job is to be the lookout, the talent scout on the baseball field at high school and say, ooh, that guy's playing catcher, but he should be a pitcher. Your job is to be Gandalf that knows that. Only Frodo can lead this group of Pippin and Merry. That's what every educator becomes. Gandalf, that is a chain, a supply chain from birth. They recognize who you are and who you are becoming. They name you, and that's the idea of the naming is ancient as the world is. And you become around the campfire the person who cooks the venison that the hunters goes out and purposely get so we can all eat. That's where we come to. So what am I good at? Entertaining people. What is Brandon spectacular at? Being funny and vibe coding stuff into existence. He's an abracadabra master. And he understands how that actually works. That is
what we're going to be working on this weekend. We've got a ragtag group of people, and we're bringing these ideas to life. And you know what they call a dog that does magic, right?
What's that?
A labracadabrador.
That is one of the best. Oh, that's a really good. That's one of the best dad jokes I've ever heard. In fact, that's what we should have a segment where you do. So we learn, adapt, we inspire. Every child be born to be to something, and we have a part now for the companies to join in finding out who you're born to be. So then we're going to come over here, and we're going to come career explore. And we're going to amplify your position here. You're going to take a test and find out what
more for next time.
That's it. So we're going to show you on the other end what this is all about. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for indulging an old man that went from really sad. And I hope that you've arrived where you're really happy because you can see it as clearly as I do. To the God inside of every one of you, I say abracadabra and I say namaste. As I bow to the divine that is inside of every human being on earth that just needs to know and be named as the light in the darkness for all those millions of people who are still living in the matrix. Be the light, my friend. Be the water. Go forth and prosper and do good. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.